everyone and welcome to my July reading vlog. I would like to start my vlog in my office just because I would like to show you my new cozy reading corner which I have prepared, and it's all set up and it's so nice to sit there and read. So let me show you the goodies. Well, of course we have shoes here, but here you have it. It is very comfortable to sit here and just stare out the window at the rain, because it is raining all the time here in Denmark, even though it's summer. And then the goodies comes up here as well. Look, obviously I had to put up my picture of Zeus when he was a little cat. So let me sit down here and tell you about the first two books that I have read in July. The first one was actually kind of a disappointment, and that is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. Jane Eyre is my favorite classic of all time, so of course I had high expectations when I read this book. Maybe I shouldn't have, because I didn't really like it. I felt like the story was very flat. It wasn't interesting, and it annoyed me a lot that the narrator kept appearing, addressing the reader and telling us about the story and her thoughts behind it. And I was like, don't do that, because that takes me out of the illusion of being in this fictional world. I did like some parts of it, so I did give it 2 stars in the end. And then the other book I read is a very tiny book. I started it last night and I've already finished it, and that is Girl Meets Boy by Ali Smith. I loved it. 4 stars for me. This one is about how different genders, doesn't matter, how you can fall in love with a girl or a boy and it doesn't matter. And as per usual, Ali Smith comes with beautiful writing. So I love this book. I gave it 4 stars. Last night I finished The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee, which comes with this gorgeous cover. And as you can see from the cover, it deals with opera. And it was kind of refreshing to read about this art form, just because I don't go to a lot of operas, but I'm very interested to read about them. And also this book is divided into acts, such as an opera is. So I found that very entertaining. The story in itself was really good as well. I did find some of the book a bit dull. It could have been shortened, I believe. It is quite long, but other than that, it was a very entertaining story, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I just got back home from Copenhagen and I feel kind of exhausted. I have been walking around all day. However, on my way home I managed to finish The Museum of You. Excuse me, Zeus. That's him making noises. Anyway, The Museum of You by Carrie Spray, which is a quite recent release. This one is a very sweet book. It will put a smile to your face. It is a very comfy read. It deals with family and issues within the family. Basically, it deals with a daughter and her father who live together, and the mother is dead. She died some years earlier. I loved the beginning because I loved the introduction to these 2 characters. I do wish that there was more to the story, having now finished it. So in the end I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, but it is definitely a very nice and sweet read, so I do recommend it. I completely forgot to mention, in a few days I will be going to London with my dear mother, and I will also bring a book with me to read. I don't know which one yet, so I will keep you updated next time in London, hopefully. So I am now in London and I'm enjoying myself together with my dear mother, and I thought that I would update you on what I'm currently reading, which is on my Kindle, and it is called South Riding by Winifred Hotby, something like that. I'm 70% into the book now and I'm enjoying it. I will keep you posted when I have finished it as to how much I enjoyed it, but so far it's good enough. It's about this village where we follow different characters and different destinies. It's very interesting, it's very entertaining. And I also went to Waterstones today to buy some books. Maybe I should show you. So I got 5 books. First one being this one, which is a pretty recent release, and even though it was released recently, it took them forever to find it for me, but they did have it. It is The Tidal Zone by Masse. I also have this pretty book. I had to get it when I saw it, and that is the Ss Serpent by Sarah Perry. I love the cover, and I've also heard great things about the book, so of course I had to get it. The next one is another one of those books that was published last week, I think, and it took them forever to find it, and that is Smoke by Dan Villetta. I have been eager to get my hands on this book. Now I have it, and I'm so excited. It's supposed to be something about smoke showing your feelings, which is, it sounds very interesting. Let me see what I can find. The next book is a book that one of the men working in Waterstones recommended to me, and that is this one, The Past by Tessa Hadley. It's supposed to be amazing. And then the last book before I move on is my first of these editions. What are they called? Persephone Classics, and this is Mariana by Monica Dickens. So yes, I will get back to you once I have finished the book I'm currently reading. I'm now back home in Denmark. I'm at my parents', which is why it looks like this. And since I last spoke to you, I, by the way, had a great trip to London. It is an amazing town. I love London, but since I last spoke to you, I have read 2 books. The first one being the one on my Kindle, South Riding, and that one was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty simple and pretty heavy on the morals towards the end, so it was an entertaining read. However, the next book I finished, I also bought in London, and that is The Tidal Zone by Maas. This one was really good. I think I'm going to give it 4.5 or 5 stars. I haven't decided yet. I literally just finished it, but it was really good. It's about being a parent and having a child that suddenly stops breathing out of the blue. She is revived, but the constant wonder and worry about your child, that is what this book is about. And it is very honest. It has so many themes in it, so it's quite extraordinary how many themes Sarah Maas manages to mix into this novel. So I was a big fan. I really loved it, and I definitely recommend it. I just finished this book, which I bought in the airport on my way home from London. This is The Green Road by Enright, and it was okay. It wasn't as brilliant as I was hoping for, because this author is very much loved. She has won the Man Booker Prize back in the days, and I'd never read anything by her, so I was quite excited. But having read this book, I am a little bit underwhelmed. It deals with a family of 4 kids and their mother, who is quite old, and well, she lives in Ireland, and she has some worries in her life. And we then hear about the children as well, how they have gone into the world. And I love how this book takes you to Africa and Canada and Ireland and a lot of different places. And I also liked how we get to hear things from everyone's perspective. There were some aspects of this novel that I quite liked, but all in all I was a little bit underwhelmed, and I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. It is now some days later, and I have finished Mariana by Monica Dickens, my first Persephone classic. Monica Dickens is actually the granddaughter of Charles Dickens, in case you didn't know, which is quite cool, I think. So I was interested to read this book. I had heard a lot about it. The main character is not called Mariana, she is called Mary, and we follow her from she is a child as she's growing up to become a young woman. Now that sounds pretty simple, but this book was amazing. It was beautiful. It is my favorite book of this year so far, because of so many things. In the beginning, when you read about Mary's childhood, you are taken back to nostalgia. It's kind of like reading To Kill a Mockingbird. It was exactly that feeling I had, and it was so amazing. And then as Mary grows up, it becomes more and more clear how this story is going to wrap up beautifully. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle where you get all of these different pieces that you don't really know how they fit, but towards the end you realize how this is working out. I have so much praise for this book. It was funny, it was endearing. I could talk about it for 30 minutes now if I had to, but I really don't want for this vlog to be way too long. So if you want to know more about my detailed feelings about this book, then you can read my Goodreads review. I have now read The Fireman by Joe Hill on my Kindle, which was a very long book. It is a 700-page book. It's basically a thriller about a disease that spreads in the world, in which people ignite and basically burn up all of a sudden, and you don't really know how this disease spreads, so it's very dangerous, and of course people are trying to avoid it. Our main character Harper, she becomes pregnant, and of course she wants to save her baby, so this novel is about her struggles in this chaotic world. Hope you can hear me from all of the cars. As I said, this is a very long book, meaning that it could have been so much shorter and so much better in my opinion. I had to drag myself through most of this novel. I did find peaks of it very interesting and very well written, especially the humor and other aspects of it, but all in all I was just very bored when reading this book, so I ended up giving it 2 stars out of 5. I have now finished what is going to be my last book of the month, and that is A Call from an Angel by Guillaume, who is a French author, and this is the Danish cover. So this is a new Danish release. It will be out in Denmark in August, so I will do a separate video review of it very soon. Therefore I won't talk too much about it here, other than I was very much surprised when reading this book. I thought that I was in for a romantic chick lit, and it was in the beginning, but it turns into a completely different genre, which I was a very big fan of. So I was pleasantly surprised, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. So as I said, this was my last book of the month. July has been an amazing month because of my trip to London and my vacation. I will see you in the end of August with my next reading vlog. So until then, happy reading.